So this question is improper, and it wasn't intended to be an improper integral, but it happened in, at least it happened in the right chapter, exam 2. Notice x equals -2 gives an asymptote. And you know, maybe you might say, well, maybe it's okay. Maybe that pole, maybe that asymptote, maybe you're taking the area under the curve, so maybe it's okay. So if you're going to do this one, the only thing to do is to proceed by breaking it up into 2 separate problems. And as soon as you find out that the thing actually does blow up, you can stop working on the problem. And they're either both going to work or they're both going to fail. And it turns out that they both fail. And you can just say that if you remember, because remember I said 1 over x squared, this piece under the curve converges, you know, let's say from 1 to infinity, but the pole going the other way, this guy, this asymptote, that guy's gonna diverge. And if you remember that, you don't have to go through all this mess. You can just say, well, I know that this guy blows up and this guy is good, so we're done. And really that's all you have to do. But let's say you forgot all that. Let's say you completely, you know, your mind is fuzzy, and you just go ahead and start working on it. Well, is one of these good and one of these bad? Actually, they're both bad, right? Yeah. Huh. I'll go ahead and do it. Let's see, x plus 2 to the -2 dx. How would we do that? We're going to increase the power and divide by the new power, double check, and we take the derivative. Do we get back? Yep, we do. And so we're going from -2 to -3. What does this really mean? That means -1 over x plus 2, -2 and -3. And so what do we get? We get -1 over -2 plus 2 minus -1 over -3 plus 2. This piece is okay. That's fine. That's not where the problem is. The problem is this bit over here, 1 over 0 is infinity. And of course, this is really, really bad. What I really need to do is I need to say limit as, you know, h goes to -2 of -1 over h plus 2. And I'm going to have to say that equals to infinity or something like that. But if you recall, I told you that this is one of the things that I'm allowing you to do. Anytime you see 1 over 0, just plain old 1 over 0, I'll let you write infinity. And if you see just plain old 1 over infinity, I let you write 0. And so you're going to have to ask every math teacher you ever have how much work you need to show in that case, because we all have different rules for what we want to see. Okay? So as far as I'm concerned, you get to that point and you just say the whole thing blows up and you're done. They always end the same way. No matter what you do to this problem, eventually you have to run into a brick wall and eventually you have to give up. Okay? So hopefully you gave up pretty quickly.